Okay, now let's look at question 7. Simplify x to the power 5 times x to the power 4. We've got product of two powers. When we multiply powers with the same base, we add indices, right? So therefore we add indices and we're getting 5 plus 4 is 9, so it is x to the power of 9. Simplify y to the power of 7 divided by y to the power of 2. When we divide powers, we subtract the indices, so we're getting y to the power of 5. Okay, and now we need to work on this question C, expand and simplify. So when we expand brackets, that means we multiply them out. 3 times 2a is 6a, 3 times 5 is 15, plus 5a minus 10. Let's collect like terms now. 6a plus 5a is 11a. 15 minus 10 is plus 5. Be careful here, right? 15 minus 10 is plus 5. So you were getting 2 marks for opening the brackets correctly and for collecting like terms correctly. Here, expand and simplify. Here, most of you didn't make mistakes, so that was really good. So we multiply everything by everything, right? Y by y is y squared, y times 7 is 7y, 5 by y is 5y, and 5 times 7 is 35. So now we collect like terms, and we are getting y squared plus 12y plus 35. And final question here, factorizing. This question has shown that you haven't mastered yet this topic, and we need to go back, and that's what we will do after half term. But for now, let's just do it again together with me. So we need to factorize this quadratic, so we are going to look at two brackets with p and p in each bracket, because that's the only way how you can get p squared by multiplying p by p. And we need to look for two numbers such that when you multiply them together, you're getting positive 8, and when you add them together, you're getting negative 6. So since you multiply two numbers and got positive result, that means that those numbers have the same sign, either positive or negative. Such numbers would be 2 and 4. 2 times 4 would give you 8, and when you add 2 and 4, you're getting 6. But how can you get negative 6 is only when you add negative 2 and negative 4. Please check. P times P is P squared. P times minus 4 is minus 4P. Minus 2p is minus 2p, so minus 4p and minus 2p should give you exactly minus 6p. And minus 2 times minus 4 gives you plus 8. So here is the end of this question. Make sure that you go back to this topic, especially factorizing quadratic, and do more practice so you would get better for this. Alright. That was question 7. Let's move to the question 8. Alright. Help measure the heights of 30 plants. The table gives some information about the heights, h centimeters of the plants. Work out an estimate for the mean. So an estimate should trigger some memories about our discussion in class. Why is it they're asking for an estimate? Why they can't actually figure out the mean or exact answer for the mean? Why is it only estimate? And look again carefully. Please don't rush and don't try to memorize the method. Just try to understand what this table of values can tell you about the height of the plants, right? So look at the first line. The first line tells you that there were 2 plants with height between 0 and 10. Would you be able to tell me exactly what would be their heights? Would it be 5 centimeters? Would it be 8 centimeters? Both of them could be 10 centimeters. We don't know, right? Everything what we know that there were 2 plants and their heights would be somewhere in between 0 and 10 centimeters. This table also tells you that there were 8 plants with heights between 10 and 20 centimeters, but it doesn't tell you exactly their heights, right? So therefore, to calculate the mean, which is always calculated in normal way, you multiply, you add all the numbers available, you divide by by the total number of your objects, all right, and you will calculate the mean. So that's why we have to estimate that the height of plants for each interval will be average for each interval. So we will be calculating midpoint of each interval, and that's why you've been given these additional columns here. So midpoint, all right, midpoint of each interval. So for the first interval, midpoint is going to be 5. For the second interval, the midpoint is going to be 15, then 25, then 35, and then 45. Now, this table now tells us that we assume that 2 plants had height 5 centimeters, 8 plants had height 15 centimeters, and so on. So now to find the mean, we actually add in 5 2 times, which is 5 times 2, which is 10, right? We're adding 15 centimeters 8 times. 15 centimeters to be added 8 times is the same as 15 times 8. 25 centimeters has to be added 9 times. 35 centimeters have to be added 7 times, and 45 centimeters will be added 4 times, right? And you need to calculate all these values together to find grand total. And then you find that grand total and you divide by number of plants, which was 30 plants, okay? And the answer to this should be, as far as I remember, 26 centimeters, but we can calculate it exactly. Please do all these calculations yourself. Alright, find this grand total, divide by 30, and that is going to be the mean height of a plant. Okay, let's move to the second part of this question. We're almost there. No, I'm sorry. That's the end of the question. So now we come to trigonometry.